Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from. Hello. I can see my big sister is in the house. Good evening. Hi, Onyeka. Good evening. Hello, Sam. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. You can just type in the comment section where you're joining us from. Um, Hello, good evening, Akom. Hi, Husky Ozone. Good evening. Um, so of course, good evening because I'm streaming here from Lagos, Nigeria. But you can always type in the comment section where you're joining us from. It's so lovely to see everybody join us this evening. Good evening. Hello. So where are you joining us from? You can just put that in the comment section and let us know where you're joining us from. Also, let me know. I'm kind of mini testing my sound. I hear that it's a bit foggy. So please let me know if you can hear me clearly in the comment section as well. If you can hear me clearly, please let me know. Just say something, type in the chat box that you can hear me. Eka, please, what's metaverse? I don't know what metaverse is. Okay, metaverse. Oh, okay. Yeah, I get. Okay, so which account is Kendi Farms? I would like to confirm who is joining in because the person is requesting to join me live. So who is Kendi Farms? Is that my guest? Alright, so hi, good evening again. Welcome to the Fun Hunt series. By way of introduction, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Adugo Chintua, and fortunately, I'm going to be your host for the evening. I'm the program's okay. Oh, great! Thank you so much, Candy. Thank you for that feedback. It's awesome. Thank you so much. Uh, yeah. All right. So, good evening, Eddie Young. Good evening. So, by way of introduction, Adugo Chintua, Ada for short, and I'll be your host for the evening. Welcome to the Fund Hunt series. So, the Fund Hunt series is a conversational program put together by the Borderless Trade Network to, basically have have conversations around funding for women in business. So a lot of the time we note that we see ads out there that say, hey, $33 million grant up for grabs, $4 million funds up for grabs, and somehow the funding just never gets to the people who need them. The funding just never gets to the women who are in their need of them. And so we decided to put together this funding to know, is it audio money? Is it this money that we keep hearing about? Is it real, or somehow it's out there but just never getting to the women? So so all right, so I need the DMs to stop. Actually, it's a bit distracting. So please let the DMs stop so that I can focus on this. Hi, welcome. All right. So it's just to know, is it audio money? Is it real, or what's happening? Is it that the money is out there but maybe somehow the women are shying away from the opportunities that are available, right? So that's why we've put together this series of funding conversations so that we can know what is it really and how can we help women get the funding. So this year we are all about action here at the Borderless Trade Network. We're all about actions and movement. No more just talks, but just moving alongside. As we talk, we act on it. So one of the things you're going to gain from joining this funding conversation is that you're going to be living here not only pumped but with action plans. if there's a documentation you need to get the money, you go get the documentation. If there's something you need to do that you're not doing to get the money, you're going to know here and now. So this is the second edition of the Fund Hunt series. The first edition, we had our president, Dr. Oloriboye Ajayi, last week with the fund guru, Ibukun Omololu, last week, and they really taught, like they broke and shattered the table. Right now, I don't even know what table I'm sitting on because they left nothing. They left not even a stool for me to stand on. So if you were in that conversation or if you were part of that conversation last week, just type in the chat box something you learned from, or something that was your take home point, or something that resonated deeply with you from that series, from the conversation last week. So last week was, why do women leave money on the table? Why is it that women leave money on the table? And the conversation just dived into a different level. Like, we now found out that some women don't even know that there is a table. They don't even know where the table is at, right? So this week we're going to be looking at OPMs. That's what I call it, OPMs. And OPM is a short form of other people's money. Other people's money, using OPM. All right, thank you, Saya. Okay, thank you, Saya, for that feedback. Saya said that she learned that she should have a working relationship with her accounts officer. Great. Sugar Tree Gardens said that she needs help to audit her business and start properly. Thank you. Okay, so Sugar Tree, if you are in the internal community of the Borderless Trade Network, we have people there to help. So just send a DM to at the Borderless Trade Network, and we have a team of professionals ready to help you with that. Okay, so we have a team of professionals hands on ready to help you with all of that. So someone should just respond to her in the DM. All right, so this week we're going to be looking at OPMs. As I said earlier, OPMs is what I call it, other people's money, using other people's money to do business, right? And why this is so how do I even call it, why it is so important to look at is, people shy, is like there's a myth. It's almost like, okay, so other people's money, but is the generic term is loans. It's just, as we all know it, loans, taking loans for business. So now I found that it's almost like loan is an accursed word when it comes to doing business. So you find that a lot of business owners don't want to touch it, like you almost touch it with a long pole. They shy away from it. You hear that there is money here, you have a grand business, you have this grand idea, you are sometimes you're already doing your business on a small scale, and you can use this loan to scale up and do business, but yet people shy away from it. Why is this the case? So I'm going to have two sets of guests to come speak on this topic. Now, I'm having two people from different perspective. I'm going to invite Addis Agro, to the CEO of Addis Agro, to come share with us, because she's been a beneficiary of a loan package in the past, and she still has a business running. So I want to know, what is the myth? What is it with doing business with loan? Is this such a terrible idea? Is it such a bad idea? What is it about loans that, especially women in business, what is it about loans that keep women running away? So Addis, I'm just going to add you to the video, to the live session real quick. Let's see. So if you see that, all right, I've sent you an invite, then using me a request, okay? So moving on this conversation, when I did a bit of background research before coming on live here, and even when I was, oh
Yeah.
hi,
Hi.
so good to have you on our live session. Hello, good
Hi. Sorry,
evening.
I was trying to get my so that I can hear properly.
Yeah, very nice. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Can
Hello.
you hear? Yes.
Yes, I
Hi.
can.
Good evening.
Yeah. Good
Okay,
evening.
perfect.
Hi, Ada. Sorry, I'm just getting in now.
Good evening. Good evening.
Uh,
Hi. It's so interesting that the both of us are at that.
yeah, it's Adas. It's two Adas. How
Yes.
are you?
So, as very well. How are you? I know it's been a roller coaster day for you today, so we
Honestly.
thank you for taking out time to just join us and speak on this topic because a lot of women in business really need to like let's dive in and know what's going on. What is it about loans? What is it about OPMs? I call it OPMs, other people money. What is it about OPMs that people really shy away from? Why do they run away from doing business with other people? Now you by our conversation has been a beneficiary of loans in time past. Okay, are you having issues with the network because it's a bit foggy? Can you still hear
Hello,
us?
can you hear me? Yes, I
Yes, I
am.
can. I
Can
can
you
hear
hear
you.
me?
Oh, yes, yes, we can hear you. So you've been a
Okay.
beneficiary of loan in time past. Tell us what has been the experience for you?
Okay. Um, I know, like every other business owner, I was scared when you talk about taking a loan. It's a very, very scary one for me. So I have been running this business since 2016, and I was doing it, on my own, without any external funding or help. So, and like I said, I was scared. I was really scared. Then I attended the program first by Faith Foundation. That was the start of my journey really as a proper business owner, because I have had two businesses that failed. Okay, so this third time I wanted to do it right. So after Faith Foundation, the opportunity came. That was the first time CBN put out an the AGS Agismis or whatever, I've forgotten the name, loan, for small business owner. That was the first time. But I applied,
Yeah.
and I forgot about it anyway. But it took after 2 years, I got a call that I should come for an interview at the CBN office in Lagos. I was scared. Hey. So, but like every business owner, what I've learned is that you have to always be prepared. Put your books in order. Get your things
Mm-hmm.
right, get everything, just be ready, because you never know
Mm-hmm.
when opportunity knocks. And when the opportunity knocks,
Yeah.
like, God forbid that you are unprepared. So I had
Mm-hmm.
already done my, because I was doing everything myself, I had already done my cash flow statement, because let me say that was my saving grace anyway. I already did my cash flow statement. I already had not a full business plan, but I had what we call business model canvas. So it's like a one pager where you are looking, having a glance of your business plan on one
Okay.
paper. So I went for the interview, and we were only two of us from the whole 200 people from my class, right? And other people. So I was tense. I didn't even know what to expect. So when it got to my turn, they were asking me, they asked about my business. And that is why when I say being prepared, they wanted to know actually that you are the one first, that um, it's you that actually that has the business. They want to know really. And one thing that I will not forget that they asked me was, they asked, what are the risks involved in your business? Honestly, I have never thought about it. But because I know my business, and it just came fast. I told them, for example, my palm oil, I get it from the eastern part of Nigeria. So the risk could be accident on the way, and I will lose the palm
Mm-hmm.
oil, right? There could be thefts, there could be other things. So that was just the first thing that came to mind. So, and I put it out there and I said, okay, what are the plans that you have to mitigate it? That is another one that it took me some time, but I answered, and they said, oh, that's fine. Okay, you can submit your documents and all that. And that was it. Even after all the people that came for there are people that they sent away or there and there. I could, it's just like you're going for, let me say, US interview. You see people that they are rejecting and you are tensed, right? So that was what happened. And after like 3 months, I got a call that they've approved the loan. I was in shock. Why? Because I didn't even want to take it. But because my name had already been submitted and I passed the interview and all that, I said, okay. But do you know that I did not take that loan? Because one, I was scared.
Why?
I said, I asked myself, Daniel, are you sure you're going to pay back this money? Yes, I was. I didn't take the money I didn't take the money for almost a year plus. They were calling me from Abuja, from everywhere.
Wow. Okay, so I think that we
have
food
to,
prices having a bit of
if
network.
worst comes to worst, Mr. Bukawosha will always say, do it afraid.
Okay.
I just have to say, what's the worst that could happen? The only thing is that I'm going to just be on my toes to make sure that I pay back the loan, right? And I also talked to my banker, because I don't know anything about finance. I'm not very good with mathematics. My husband is always, yabbing me. So, but when I spoke to my banker, which is also where it is good to, have experienced people, in terms of the way you hit a roadblock, you ask people that know more than you. So I asked my first bank people. I said, I have this loan, no. Because they were offering me a loan and they were offering me at 24% or something.
So I think she has experienced some sort of. You can still hear me clearly. Okay, she just left the call. Okay, so if you can hear me, I know that you can hear me. So what she said is one of the major things that we're looking at this evening. What is it that get people scared? Is it such a terrible idea to do business using loans? What is it? Is it a lack of confidence? What is it about women and loans? It's almost like they are north and south poles that never meet at any point. What is it? What is it about doing business with loans that gets you so scared? I wish she had gone on even further, because she eventually got the loan. She eventually took the loan, and I wish she had gone further to share her candid experience with it. I would really, really love to know her candid experience with the loan going forward. Okay, we can't hear you, of course, because you're not in the live session anymore. But let me send you an. I think we're just going to talk again with Adis Agro, and we call up our next guest for the evening. Yes, you're back now.
Oh, okay. Hi, sorry, I was talking. I didn't even know that it was off. So I was just saying that I was scared. And for any other woman out there, it's okay to be afraid. But one thing that I know that I did right was, one,
So,
I was
what
prepared.
was your experience when you eventually took the loan? When you eventually took the loan, what was your experience? What was your candid experience with the loan after you injected it? Did you inject it into your business? Was there a reason for injecting all of it into your business, or inject in installment? General experience with the money you eventually got it.
Well, another thing, when they give you the money, they're not going to give you, it's not like it's in your account, but you don't have access to it. So each time before you do anything, you have to apply. So they pay the supplier direct. So, you know, so it's not like they're just going to leave the money for you, because I know the experience, what they told us, that a lot of people took the loan and they used it for something. So I used it, and prior to the loan, I was at home. So all my processing were at home. So the loan helped me to move into a mini factory, my office. The loan helped me to get some of the equipment that I needed, and it really helped. So the production, before I used to process my spices outside, but then because I wanted to ensure for a healthy, I was saying that I was producing healthy, so I needed to, make do with my words. So I had to get equipment, machines that are going to help me. So it really helped me, and that was like, it was just like, it was just like a boom. And when it did, because also I knew that at the end of every month I need to pay back the loan, it made me, I had to double my efforts, right? I had to now okay, before then I knew I signed the agreement in December. So I also made plan coming into 2021 that I was going to scale from 12 supermarkets to 20. That was my target goal for 2021. And as at December 16th, when I shut down for the year, I had already made 21 supermarkets. And I also had my products in the UK. So, before I took the money, I had already made plans on how to execute it and how I could be able to get back the money to pay back. Because I know the problem why people do not want to take loans, because of paying back. You understand? So before you take it, it's also good to draw a roadmap on how you're going to generate money to pay back, so that when you pay back, you still have something left to run the business. Do you understand?
Run the business at that level. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, so that you don't just pay all your money and
think back to level lower. Awesome. So I'm glad that you got to share this with us. Thank you so much. I'm going to call up our next guest now. In fact, while you were speaking, the Sugar Tree Gardens, she further shared with us, and she said that she's terribly afraid of the word loans. Is the fear of inability to pay back, mismanagement by staff, unpredictability and unreliability. These are just some of the issues that women, when it has to do with loans. So Adis, thank you so much for coming on the call. I need to pull up my next guest real fast.
Thank you
for sharing with us. Thank you for giving us personal and first person's perspective of how, as a businesswoman, injecting it into your business, how you were able to manage it. In fact, the real fears, the issues you faced in getting the loan. Earlier in the week, in the Borderless Trade Network team, we had a bit of consultation, and someone shared with us how she is trying to repay a loan that she took. It's almost like her business cannot sustain. It's like she took a loan and her business is struggling because of the loan. I really do hope that the lady is on the call, because we've had a testimony of someone who was able to manage her loans correctly, and I hope that she's on the call so that she can also see how to manage and how she can still up and repay the loan and still stay afloat in business. Adis, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Thank you. So I'd like to know if Mr. Segun is on the call, because I would like him to join. I'd like to call him up real quick. Yeah. Yes, is Mr. Segun, please, if you are on the call, just say in the comment section so I will know what account you're joining with, so that I'll join you up real quick. And any of the BTN team member on the call, can real quick just chat up Mr. Segun, give him a call, just to nudge him to join the call if he isn't already on the call. Oh, great. So let me add you real quick. Okay. Yes. So I've sent you an invite to join. Yes, I've sent you an invite. Great. Good evening, Mr. Segun.
Hello,
So
good
I'm
evening,
going to
Ada.
do a
How are
bit.
you?
Hi.
Yeah, good evening. How are you?
Good to have you again. So good to see you.
Yes,
So
thank
I'm just going to
you.
do a bit of Segun Akinsanya. I'm doing great. I'm doing very great. So he is experienced banker and currently he, he's the he's a co-founder of Bluefit Global Limited. He has dedicated 32 years experience to helping people him this evening, and he's going to shed more light and put in out for, and please let's go secure the bag already. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us already. So please, I don't know if you were on the call when she shared her experience with taking loans and what her experience was. And we have a lot of women saying that they once they hear the word loan, they get scared. What is it with loan? Why is it that the men are quick to, jump on it and women literally run from it? It's like they can't exist in the same sentence with the word loan. Please share with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. The first guest mentioned that um, during the session they asked her a few questions, which demonstrated the fact that she knows the business. Otherwise, they would not have given her the loan. They asked her what are the risks inherent in your business, what are the mitigants, how do you mitigate the risk in this business? And they saw that she demonstrated knowledge of the industry, knowledge of the business. If she had not demonstrated knowledge of the business, they would not have given her the loan. The problem with most entrepreneurs is that they don't have in-depth knowledge about the business. Another thing is, as it's usually said,
The
that
business,
when
yeah.
purpose is not known of anything, abuse is inevitable. If you don't know the purpose of the loan,
Abuse is inevitable.
it's inevitable. Yes. So when you are taking a loan, it's a deliberate action. You know, once you take a decision to borrow, it's a deliberate action from the word go, to package yourself, make yourself ready for that loan, from your books to management, organization of the business. You understand? To put things right, as in, from the point you have to open an account, you have to run the account. The banker will need to see activity of that business, that you know that you are passing the daily sales or interim sales or whatever, weekly, monthly, in through the account. They will have to conduct a statistics of your account operation. You can't just walk into any bank and say, I want a loan, and there's no record of activity. They will not respond. They will not respond to you. And one thing I would usually, when we say money on the table, money on the table, I would, for me, if you tell me that
Yeah.
there is money on the table for pick, I want to know, is it a loan or a grant? Is it a loan or a grant? If it's a grant, hey, I don't even need to analyze. Oh yeah, bring it. I'm ready. But if it's a loan, I'll pull back and be sure that I'm ready for this loan. I have put don't know public holiday. That business can it the attendant, cost. No, that when you have done everything, you must be able to separate between revenue and profit. Which one can I spend? Even when payment is coming into your account, you must know what percentage of this payment I have received constitutes revenue. What payment constitutes profit? Which one can I touch? Which one can I not touch? You must know all of that. But the problem most of business owners they have is that once money comes, once customers pay money to their account, they just start firing. They just start drawing, and so at the end of the day, by the time the bank is unable to recover its total money, the problem starts from that point. They start calling in receiver manager, they start calling in lawyers, they start calling loss adjusters, recovery agents, and all of that, and you start going to court and problem starts. So, as I would recommend, before you take a loan, you need to sit down and analyze your business. How much do I need for this business? What do I need this money for? You must analyze properly. What do I need it for? Is it that there is a contract, there's a supply contract I'm trying to service, and I need some equipment to do it? This equipment I want to buy, what is the best decision for me, to buy or to lease? The payment from the supply, can it take care of the cost of the equipment, or is the bank willing to give me this loan as a fixed asset that as lease that will be amortized over a long period, maybe 2 years, 3 years, such that I can take in the cost on a monthly basis, so that the cost will not come heavy on the business. So all of those are all the decisions that you need to really sit down and look at. Some finance knowledge is needed. Some finance knowledge is needed for you to be successful in loan. But loan is good. I would say loan is good, and you cannot run effective business without loan. You cannot, because it will get to a time that your money cannot cover your funds, your personal funds cannot drive that business again. That business will grow to a level that other people's money need to come in, funds need to be injected into the business to run that enterprise.
Okay. So apart from grants, is there an alternative to loans now, to loan sources in that? So for example, if people are scared of taking loans from the bank, is there, because I know that there are some level of incompatibility when people do all of these business analyses, they've analyzed their business, they've spoken to the right authorities, and they see that, okay, quite all right, I need funding and I need loan. Maybe loan is the quickest source to get funding at the moment, but I don't want to get it from the bank though. Are there other alternative sources to getting loans other than banks? Because it appears that people,
Thank you. Businesses are financed from two sources: debt and equity, or both, mixture of both. You will see that recently MTN came to the market to do a public offer. They could as well go to a bank to raise money for what they need funds to do. But they know by the capacity by the capacity they have developed over the period, the confidence they've had, the the financial muscle they have developed in the economy, the the confidence that people had in them, they can go to the market and raise funds that is interest free.
Okay.
You understand? And so
Yeah.
it was good for them. They raised so they won't be running to pay bank interest. The repayment will be due at so time. Is a longer term, longer term form of funds. That's equity.
Okay.
But loan, if you want to finance it from debt, which is loan, bank loan is debt. Equity is shareholders' money. You understand? Shareholders' money, that's equity. Debt is you're borrowing from bank. It will require interest rates. You understand? So you must equity for small business.
Yes.
For small business, equity. It can be your personal fund, your husband money, your friend's money, your family money. That's equity. If you don't want to go to bank, but how long can that go? How much can they give you? What kind of volume will individuals be able to give to you? What are you going to give back to them in return for their money? So those are questions that you need to ask, because you could find people, yes, that are willing to, invest into your business. So what are you going to give them in return? Are you going to make them shareholder? Are you going to pay dividend? Are you going to do profit sharing at the end of the day? These are things you need to, if you don't want to go the way of borrowing from bank. Yeah.
So these interest rates with the bank, can a business owner sit down and say, oh, of my business?
Well, for commercial banks, I don't think you can negotiate interest like that. I don't think you can negotiate interest because banks have their policy. Before they give you the loan, they already have, they are calculated based on um, um, ancillary cost of that institution, and their cost of fund. They will have done a calculation to say that, okay, our lending rate will be so amount. You cannot come and say you want something less than that. But depending on the kind of industry that you are operating from, there are intervention funds around. Like the lady spoke that she went to central bank and they gave her a loan. That's intervention fund, and probably a single digit. There's Bank of Industry.
Yes.
They also give single digit interest rates. So if you find yourself in industry related or agri related, yeah, there are intervention funds that would reduce your cost of fund, thereby increasing your profitability. But you must ensure that the fund is used for the purpose. As a matter of fact, taking the loan must put you on your toes to ensure delivery. If there is a time for you to take out profit from the business, I would recommend that it is when you have paid the bank. When you have paid the bank, the business in the long run belongs to you. So you need to be patient to ensure that your creditors are settled before you start talking about taking out profitability or taking profit from the business. Because you are here, you are here for a long time. I mean, the business is here, it's on a going concern.
Yeah. So what you just said now kind of puts me into the next phase of this conversation. So I would like for the women to have take-home points so that they know exactly what it is that they should be doing in the long run. It's not just in the long run now, but what active steps that they can take right after this call. So I'd just like for you to break down what should any woman in business do before approaching the bank for a loan. What should they do in what should they put in place when they receive the loan? And we're talking in terms of loan management and disbursing funds and all of those things in terms of
Okay.
managing the loan to repay back so that
Okay.
she does not sink, the business does not sink, she won't sink, she's not losing any assets as a result of getting the loan, and to allay any sort of fear that any woman prior to this moment had as it pertains to loan.
Okay. Thank you very much. Some banks have it as a policy not to finance startups.
Okay.
Is in their credit policy that they don't finance startups because they believe that startups are open to trial and error. At the point you're starting the business, you don't know your way through that business yet. You're still trying to master, the business. And so certain things will come up that might lead to losses. So at that point, equity, you need to use your own money to run it. You need to run that business with your little equity and donations from friends and families. When that business has taken off and you can see progress coming in and there is demand, there is need to borrow. Before you approach the bank, of course, you must have been running your account very well. There are certain things that the bankers will be looking out for when you approach them. In lending, there's something called the 5 C's of credit. 5 C's of credit.
Okay.
Those are internal analysis, credit analysis that bankers, lenders will go through. It may not be open to you. You may not know as a customer, but these are analyses they will do at the back end to see if they have the right customer or not, or if they will give you the loan. One of the C, capacity. One of the C, character. One of the C, condition. One of the C, collateral. That's about 5. And capital.
That's about 4 now. Okay.
Capital. Capital is your own equity in that business. Before you come and collect my money, how much of your own money is in that business? Do you believe in the business? Do you believe in the business? Yes, that's what will show. It will show how much of confidence you have in that business by your own involvement and commitment in form of capital and equity. Yes. So that's capital. Collateral. Are you willing to drop your collateral at your house?
Okay.
Are you willing to drop a collateral? That's to show your confidence in that business. What collateral do we have? Collateral is fallback. In case there is loss, what are we going to fall back on? Those are comforts for the bank. Character. Is this person a person of integrity? If he says I'm coming, does he come? If he says I'm going, is he going? Our experience, relationship with this person in the past few, what can you say about integrity? Those are the things the bank they are analyzing. Honestly.
Okay.
And you will not know. Condition, what are the conditions surrounding this lending? The business, the industry. The industry. What are the prevalent conditions in that industry? Is it seasonal? Is that business? Is it seasonal? Maybe during rainy season, that's when they have sales, and they don't have sales in the dry season, or they only sell during Christmas. It's only Christmas or festive period, or what are conditions surrounding it, or are there regulations that are working against that business? Those are things that the bank will analyze before giving the loan to you. You can ask for a loan of 1 year, and the bank will say, sorry, by our estimate, we cannot give you more than 3 months, because they have seen that there is seasonality in that business. Cyclicality, that business, is it responding to the boom and bust in the economy? Recession, is it affecting that business? Is there a recession? Is there sales? You know, in that business. So those are things they will analyze. You know, capacity. What's the cash flow of that business? What's the cash flow? What's the cash flow? You know, profitability. What margins do you have in that business? Maybe if we give you a loan of 100 million, how much profits do we expect? If from 100 million, you're just getting 5 million, 1 million, 2 million profit, are you sure that can pay our interest rates? Are you sure bank borrowing is what you should be doing? Are you sure equity funding is not what you should be pursuing, because you cannot pay bank, you can't pay debt? So those are things that the business owner need to sit down and reflect before you go ahead to borrow. And by the time you're approaching the bank, they want to see your financials, your audited accounts. They want to see your audited account. They want to see your balance sheet. They want to see. They want to see your trading assets, your current assets, your debtors, your stocks, your debtors. How long does it take your debtors to pay? Does it take them forever? If it takes them forever, then what is the nature of the product you are selling? Is it an essential commodity that they can afford to just owe you for 1 year and they will not pay? Because it's not very essential. If it's something that is very essential, they know that by the time you are annoyed and you don't want to supply them again, there is problem. So they will not hold your money for a very long time. You understand? So these are stocks. How do you get your what kind of how do you get your raw material to produce? Your warehouse, do you have pile up of stocks that you're unable to digest over the period? Obsolete items. These are the things that the bank will analyze from your financials, from your audited account. How long does it take you to digest your raw material? When is it imported or locally sourced? So then they will look at what prepayment do you have, what fixed asset is needed for your production. How expensive are those fixed assets? Are they things that can just be produced, machines that can be sourced locally, or heavy duty equipment? Then when they look at your fixed assets and they're seeing so many vehicles, so many cars that are not functioning in the business, that are not productive, they begin to open up those things and and they start looking at it. You know, I've spoken about net worth, your capital, your equity in the business. These are things they would look at so closely. Then they come to your income statement, look at your cost, your selling and general admin expenses, your cost of production, your cost of production. They look at all of these things and okay, what is the gap between your cost and revenue? If it's very slim, then it means you cannot accommodate much of expenses. You can't. So even to pay your staff, say, will be, because the gap between the cost, your cost of the cost of item, your cost of production and sales they're very thin. So these are things
Yeah.
they will analyze. Then if it is like
Yeah.
that, if it is thin,
Mm.
unit cost is thin, then you should be looking at volume. Look at cement. The
Mm.
profitability on cement is very, very thin. If you
Okay.
will prosper in business, in cement business, you must multiply volume. You must sell large volume. By the time you multiply two naira over millions, over thousands, it becomes something. So
Yes.
you know that your strategy must be to work on volume, to
Mm.
drive profitability. So
Mm.
these are all the things that as business owner, you must look at it before you go into meeting the banks.
Mm.
You know, then
Okay. Yeah.
corporate governance. Corporate governance. Okay, do we have the right people in the right places in your company? You can't do everything by yourself. You cannot.
Mm.
I was speaking with a
Mm.
company recently, and they want me to help them to look at their books, and they didn't have asset register. They didn't have asset register, but there are so many assets everywhere. But they didn't have a place where these assets are written out, and they didn't have
Accounted
asset
for.
register. Yes, so I'm like, we need to first of all put in place an asset register. They say I should liaise with that. I should speak with the head of the human resources. Ah, you can see that,
Mm.
of course, in that company there's lack of corporate governance because it is away
Mm.
from the scope of HR to be the one
Mm.
handling such things. So
Mm.
in such cases, money will get lost.
Mm.
You are not putting the right people
Yeah.
in the right places. You understand? So
Mm.
exactly. So those are critical things that that you need to ensure for a successful business, especially when you start getting into borrowing. By the time you're getting into
Mm.
borrowing, you may need more staff. You may need.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean multiplying too many functions, but there are
Mm.
critical units that must be there. Account
Mm.
is very critical. Account is critical
Yeah.
for you to know how much is coming in, how much is
That's
going out,
critical.
how are we servicing our
Mm.
loan, what is the relationship with the bank. All of that is
Mm-hmm.
very critical. There's no need to be afraid of
Mm-hmm.
taking loan if you're sure you need it,
Mm.
but you must ensure that it
Mm.
is properly applied. You must apply it for the
Mm.
purpose that you are taking the loan, because if you don't
Mm.
apply for that purpose, it's coming back to hurt you. It's coming back to hurt
Mm.
you if you don't apply it for the specific purpose you have taken it.
Mm. Okay. That makes a lot. So, can you still hear me, Mr. Shimon?
Yes, I'm hearing you. I'm with you.
Okay. So, in a case whereby you've mentioned the fines, character, capital, collateral, condensity. Now, when it comes to women in business, I know that not so many women in business own collaterals. So what happens to a business, and someone is even asking, what happens to where a business cannot provide collateral? Is there any substitutes?
Well, it's not every loan that, if you say you don't have collateral, look at the lady that spoke now. One of the reasons they probably
Mm,
gave her transaction driven facility, because that facility
mm-hmm,
they gave to her is transaction driven, is monitored. It's a monitored loan
mm,
they gave to her, such that
mm, mm,
they will not give you the opportunity to pay suppliers directly, contractors directly. No.
okay. Mm-hmm,
Yes. Like LPO financing, for instance, the banks
mm-hmm,
will ensure you domicile payment directly to them. That's taking control from you because you don't have
mm,
collateral. They cannot give you working capital
mm-hmm,
because
mm,
working capital will require collateral. So they are co-managing the business with you. That's technically what they are doing.
Okay.
They are co-managing.
Okay.
They are like, they have seen themselves as
But you
partners.
still get to make the choices, only that they make the payments directly
Yes.
to the suppliers or the vendor. Okay.
So there are some businesses
Okay.
like that. It will be such that will not have collateral. Then it will be short term. It will be circle driven.
Okay.
Yes, maybe 90 days.
Okay.
When you do one finish, 90 days, you come back again and say, okay, I've cleared 90, the first 90. So I need another 90. You are kind of teleguided. You are kind of monitored.
Okay.
Because they know that if once there is any glitch, the whole money will be, there's no fallback for them, and the money will be lost. Yeah. So that's the reason why they will teleguide you. They will monitor you from from production to sales.
Okay. So now we know what C's to look out applying for loan, what structure to put in place. Now, Mr. Segun, some of these structures that you have made mention of, the average small business owner, maybe the word small is the issue in question, but not every SME has those kind of structure in place. So what happens when, for example, okay, you're able to do your cash flow, basic cash flow management, but you don't have that capacity to institute structure, like pay staff that will handle, or pay professionals that will handle certain aspects of the business for you. Would that affect you getting the loan, or is there a way around it in
It
terms
depends on,
of,
yeah, thank you. It depends on the volume of loan you are taking. There are some volume that there is no how. You must have those staff complement. You must just have it. There are some volume of loan that you just must have it. But for SMEs, well, it means you also have to double up your own, efforts as entrepreneur. But you still must have someone that will be supporting you, in accounts and relationship with banks. You understand? There must be. You can't do everything. No matter how prudent you want to be, economic you want to apply, you cannot do everything alone. You must delegate. Some people must run some errands for you and all of that. They may not be graduates and general managers and all that. You can scale down levels, but some people must be in charge of these things. You may do a lot of supervision. You understand? You may have to do a lot of supervision, but some people must do that leg work for you.
Okay. So now we know what to put in place before you go for the loan, and how to manage the loans. The loans do not necessarily have to be directly handled or managed by you. The bank can manage the loan on your behalf, especially in situations whereby there are no collaterals. So let's move on to the aspect of capacity. Now we know that there are people who have business ideas, and they want, maybe they've done research and they have knowledge around that area, but they have a very solid plan. They've done their research, they've come up with a very solid plan, but they on their own cannot manage the business. They are willing to bring in professionals to handle the business, but the aspect of capacity sort of like disqualifies them, where you mentioned that you must know the business, you must know the in total of the business, and basically run the business. So are you saying that a person cannot take a loan to fund an idea?
You can take loan. Like I said, you must make sure that you are not borrowing from startup. You must have experimented with your own money, with your equity. You must have started that business to gain experience, to gain the ups and downs, of that business before you start putting in other people's money into that business. You know, one of the problems with most Nigerians is that we don't want to run partnership. We don't want to run partner. You just want to be the MD, CEO, chairman, chief executive, everything. There is a place where you bring in other people, to share, to take some share of that business. Is it not better to be, to be to be to have a small part of a big thing than to have a big part of a small thing? What is happening to MTN? MTN is selling their shares now for expansion. They have more shareholders, and it has given them a lot of room, a lot of money to buy equipment, to expand, to do all that they need to do. If before they were borrowing from banks, now that they've sold the shares and they've had money now, they will pay down some of their interest-bearing loan from banks. It will increase profitability for them. At the end of the day, there will be more money to share to shareholders, to give a dividend at the end of the year. Is it not better that way than to say, it's me that want to have 100%? Let me just have 100% of nothing. Huh? That's the problem most of us have. There was a time I was managing transport and maritime desk that most Nigerians, they want to buy vessels, they want to buy ship. Okay, many of those ships, they are rusty buckets, second hand. Those ships that somebody has used it 35 years, and you have now come and buy a 35-year-old ship. What is remaining what useful life is remaining of that asset? But because you just want it to be there that my company city together, of you buy a brand new ship, don't you think that the efficiency of that ship will be able to generate enough cash flow that will take care of all of you than the one you bought that will break down? If it's going to Calabar, it probably will break down 3 times or 4 times before it will move diesel to Calabar within Nigeria waters. You understand? So that's the problem. So you will spend more money in repair and maintenance, from time to time. Whereas that same money can be your own contribution with some other partners, and you form, a good company that would deliver value.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Segun. I do not know if you can still hear me. Kindly confirm that you can still hear me.
I'm hearing you very well.
Oh,
clearly.
great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if you can also in the comment section, please confirm that you can hear me. My network from my end is a bit foggy, and I want to be sure that I've not lost anybody on this jolly ride. So it's getting more intense and even far more interesting on what to put in place. Is it such a bad idea to use OPMs for business? And why do women in business shy away from it? We've had our first guest, the CEO of Addis Agro, Adane Uche. She came here and she shared with us what her experience firsthand it was with getting a loan from the central bank, how it was managed. And now we are having Mr. Olusegun Akinsanya, the co-founder of Bluefit Global Services, and he's sharing with us from his 32-year rich experience in commercial banking on what it is that you need to put in place before you approach the banks for loan, and how to manage a loan, what structure you need to have in your business to manage a loan so that you do not sink in the process. So But so far, so good. From all that we've learned, we have found that OPM is not indeed a bad idea to use in running your business. It's just that there are things you need to put in place before you can get and take advantage of OPM, before you can leverage on OPMs. And now we're opening the floor. We're having the floor open for questions, comments. Are there things you need us to throw more light on as we draw the curtain to a close on this conversation? Thank you to everyone who has joined us this evening. It's been a jolly ride, and I invite you to indeed join us even further next week. This is a conversation series, a funding conversation series that continues even all through the month of February or into the March the 2nd, where we have our International Women's Day Conference, where we'll talk about 10xing your income. That one is going to be a bomb, because the kind of speakers we're bringing together is not the kind that would keep you comfortable in your seat. Next week's speaker is my very own big sister. You need to be in the house. If you're looking at where to get funding from, if you're looking for how you can locate fund as a woman in business, she is the right woman you should be listening to. She's the person you want to talk about. And I'm talking of no other than, see, if you've never heard that name before and you're a woman in business, you're as an SME, and heard her speak and know where to channel your energy to, see, you're wrong. Basically, you're wrong. So this week we've learned about loans. We're learning about how to manage loan, how to position yourself to get loan. When you get the loan, do not relax and think that it's your own money. Like Mr. Segun said, there's a difference between revenue and profits. You need to know where to draw the line. You need to know how to be patient enough to allow your business as a baby to grow. Allow your business grow enough for it to sustain itself before you begin to dip hand and say, oh, we're gaining profits from this business. It's not, there are stages in business. I don't know if that's something you want to also talk about, the different stages that there are in business, and at what point you can even say that, oh, my business is enough, has grown enough for me to dip hand and take profits from. I think
Yeah.
that also has to do with the vision that the business owners have. How far do you see your business growing? Do you want it to be tilapia level or shark level? So let me allow you to speak to that for a bit.
Well, thank you. Well, we know that in business cycle, there are preliminary takeoff points, and there is maturity point in business. After that maturity point, diminishing returns start setting in, where it looks like people are not, they are not on their toes anymore, and all of that. Maybe or maybe there are competition is taking them out of the market, and all of that. But you will know when it is time to begin to take profit. You will know, because you will audit your account. It's of no use when you are borrowing, when there is heavy bank loan on your neck, and you want to be taking out profit. I don't mean that you cannot pay yourself. You can pay yourself. At least, since you are working in the company, see yourself as an employee of that company, whereby you'll be paid. At least you'll be able to pay you. Imagine that you're also a staff of the place. But taking out profits is what I'm talking about. When you begin to want to satisfy yourself, at that point you should ensure the bank is taken out first before you start enjoying the fruit of your labor. You understand what I'm saying? The cycles, you will know from your financials, from what the auditors have put together. You will know if you're making money. If you're not making money, you will know. At the end of the day, you will know by what is happening in the bank. You will know that there is money in this company, or there's no money in this company. Imagine if MTN had come into this market in the first year they are coming in. If they are coming to say that they want to sell shares, I don't know how many people will buy the share. It's on record that when MTN first of all came into this market, they approached a bank. I don't want to be dropping name. They approached a bank and the bank drove them away. They
Oh,
drove
wow.
them away that they cannot, yeah, because they can't see light, they can't see prospect. They see them as new. They drove them, the bank drove them away. I don't want to mention their name. It's a prominent bank now. And after that, things are falling, lines are falling in pleasant places for them. The bank now came to market them. The bank came to market them, and they now refuse that, no. We would stay with, Diamond Bank or whatever, So, because they are a startup, nobody wants to touch a startup. They are a toddler. Your company is a toddler. At that point, anything can go wrong, and whoever has invested might lose the money. So everybody wants to be sure that the point I'm coming into that business is when they have gained confidence of the market. They have gained the confidence of they have become they've gained mastery of their job. Everybody know them now, and then people will be able to now commit more to you. The bank will be able to lend to you. If the MTN will call a bank now and say, tomorrow I need 20 billion, the offer letter will be rolling on top of offer letter from several banks now, because they know by experience. And that's what we're saying. Over time, by experience, the banks will be falling on themselves to bank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Segun. Any last words as we draw the curtain on this you to the women?
Well, last word, okay. Loan is good. Loan is a catalyst to growth for any business, any venture. But from time to time, you must analyze, why are you taking this loan? Don't just take loan for taking sake, that they said is on the table and you also go to grab it. At times, you don't even need that money. At times, you don't even need it. Let the market dictate. Let the market dictate your need for loan. Let the market, let the situation, let the business dictate it. Don't just, I use myself as an example the other time, that a friend of mine spoke to me and he said, so bank is giving credit card. I said, let me also go. I went there, I took the credit card. It became serious problem that over several years I couldn't come out of it. That they appointed recovery agents on me. When it was getting embarrassing, I had to do some background work to see that, look, these guys were actually charging me 60% per annum. Where in the world is 60% charge? Anywhere in the world? Then I said, okay, I have tried. I kept all the tellers I was using to pay. I have record of all inflows, huge teller like this, and yet I did not finish this. I did not finish paying this loan. I said, let's go to anywhere. Let's go to court. I'm going to go there with all this money. That was when they now decided that, okay, they will stop interest. Because by the amount of interest I have paid is so much, and it was because of my integrity. That was why I said, no, I will not abandon this loan. I will pay it until they agree that, okay, they will stop the interest for me to clear the loan, and I cleared it. I cleared the loan. So they wrote me a letter of discharge, that I'm discharged. So, but that loan, what did I do with it? I gave it to a friend. I did not use that loan directly. I gave it to a friend, and today I've not received the money back. Over 8 years ago. So, because I didn't need it, why did I go and take that loan? I didn't need it. So, if you don't need it, don't take it, because it's generating interest per day, per second, per public holiday, per Saturday, per Sunday, per Christmas Day. per Easter is generating interest. Uh-huh.
Oh. So, ladies, you've heard it. If you don't need it, don't take it. That's the key word for loans. If you don't need it, don't take it. Do your homework, get your documentation, get your finances, get your books together, and make sure that you actually can sustain the loan that you are going for. Do not just go for a loan because it's on the table and you think it's up for grabs. No, please leave it on the table. Not all loans are on the table for you. Leave it
That's
on the
it.
table till there is a need for it, then you can go. You can take there, like Mr. Shego said, there are other sources of funding that you can employ. You can look at equity, you can look at money from family and friends. And you know the funny thing, those are actually other forms of OPMs. OPM is other people's money, using
Yeah.
other people's money. You do not necessarily have to approach the bank for a loan. You can take a loan from family, friends, your network, and
Yeah.
you repay those kind of loans without interest.
Without
Sometimes you can
interest.
negotiate with family and friends and get it without interest. So you do not have to approach a commercial bank. Those guys are in for business. So if you're
Yeah.
going to them, first of all, make sure that your volume is necessary. The what you need the money for is actually is factual. You've done your background work and you have all your facts checked out that you indeed need this funding, and you have no other source of getting it but a loan from the bank, right? So let's do the background work. Make sure that you have your character, your capital, your collateral, your condition, and your capacity in place. This is actually inside information. These are things that the banks will not tell you. Nobody is going to tell you that this is what you're going to be graded on, but these are the facts that they are checking out for before they give you money. The money is not just money plucked from the tree. These are people money that
That's
they
it.
put in the bank, shareholders' money, and they need it to be accounted for. They know that the bank is using it to do business. The bank needs to repay the people back their money. So when you
Yeah.
approach the bank, make sure that it's absolutely necessary. And if it's not absolutely necessary, please just leave the money on the table. It's not for you. If your business has not grown to the point of needing OPMs to run, please leave the money on the table. It's not for you. Not all money are on the table for your grabbing, right? So thank you for hanging out with us this evening.
Thank you.
We'll see you again next week when we continue the Fund Hunt series. It's very, very, very interesting. It keeps getting hotter and hotter, leading up to the International Women's Day Conference, where we go to learn to 10x our income. So see you all there. Thank you for hanging out with us. If you
Thank
are
you.
not yet part of our internal community, please send us a DM and we'll be very, very happy to have you on board. Thank you, Mr. Shegun, for your time this evening. Thank you,
Thank
all ladies,
you.
for hanging out. It's been such a time of learning and very productive time of hangout.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
all. Have a very beautiful evening. Good
Thank you.
night, and
Good
God
night.
bless you.
Bye.
Bye.